Welcome to the NBA Coast to Coast podcast brought to you by thelines.com. Coming to you from the West Coast, Josh Lander, joined by my guy Nate Weitzer on the East Coast. And we are looking at play-up props here on a Wednesday night. Got a little 10-game slate to choose from, so lots of options here on our player props. Definitely want to make sure to like and subscribe to that page. Continue to follow along, bringing you these videos each and every weekday this season. Looking to pick things up on these player props. Also want you to head to thelines.com. That's where we have our great written content for you guys and our odds finder tool. You can use that to make sure you're getting the best juice back on all these bets you make on NBA player props this season. So Nate, let's go ahead and jump into your first NBA player prop for tonight.
Yeah, I mean, they're calling this the dog days of the season already. And so that's why we kind of been leaning on young guys. And Jalen Green came through yesterday in a big way with the Rockets continuing their hot streak. I'm going with the young boy, Paolo Banchero, though, the potential rookie of the year against a Hawks team that really is starting to hate each other and just fall apart with chemistry issues all over the place. On the season, they give up the fourth most points and rebounds to power forwards. And John Collins has been out for weeks now. Now, DeJounte Murray's been out for the last four. They have a 117 defensive rating. They're allowing 121 a game. And their offense has also struggled, so they're giving up 49 rebounds per game. So the fact that Paolo went for 2 points and just 2 rebounds in a blowout loss to Atlanta 2 weeks ago makes me feel fine expecting positive regression on the boards. And 28.5 points rebounds on FanDuel is the best odds you can get here. You can get safer bets for him to get 21 points or 27.5 points rebounds, but I think you're fine here. In his last four, he's averaging 21.5 and 9 boards, shooting on 42% field goal shooting, which I think is also going to go up because what he did in those last four came against maybe the 4 toughest matchups you can have for a lengthy wing. The Raptors twice, the Bucks, and the Clippers all at home. Yeah. And he's a young player who does, of course, perform better at home and averaging 22.7 points, 7.5 rebounds at home. Better numbers. So I feel pretty good about him eating here against the Hawks. And as I mentioned, Magic slight underdogs. Think you can sprinkle a little bit on that money line plus 120.
Yeah, the reeling Hawks, like you said, and Paolo, a guy that I think this is a much better matchup than he's been facing. To your point, the rebounds are huge too. I think obviously because the Hawks are a bottom 5 team in terms of rebounding as well. So not much coming for them there. The rebounding at 6.5 for him, I think it's fine if you combine it. It's minus 140 on DK for him to get 6.5. I think you definitely want to if he gets 7, combine that with the points and get slightly better odds to the 28.5 that you were talking about there for sure. So I know we're talking about young guys, but I'm going with a wily vet that we just keep coming back to because I feel like his prop isn't really matching what he does. Bojan Bogdanovic, I got that correctly. The one on the Pistons there, 19.5 points over that for him. I'm just taking the points for him. I mean, that's what he's doing. I think there's been a bit of a chip on his shoulder that the Pistons were able to get him so easily when I think he was like, look, there should be contenders that are vying for me. And he's been putting up points and field goal attempts and the usage because I think he's trying to prove that. In his last 6, 24 points a game, just 28 minutes with a 28% usage rate. He was coming back from an injury in there. So, I mean, he's only failed to cover the 20-point total here in 2 of those games. That's because he played 22 minutes or less in those games. One of them he came out after just playing 5 minutes. So, really, in the games that he's getting at least 25 minutes, we're talking about 27.5 points a game in general. So, that's the exact same situation against a Charlotte team that we know is bad on defense, continues to be. Last 5 versus Charlotte for Bojan, same concept. When he plays 30-plus minutes, he's averaging 27 points a game against them. So, it's the same, it's also what we've been talking about all season with him. When Cade's not in there, 22 points a game with a 27.5% usage rate. And if he gets that 31.5 minutes per game that he's been getting, then, I think 20 points is a lock for him as he's just got the ball in his hands so much, putting it up, like I said, 28% of the time when he's on the floor. So 20 points against Charlotte is just too low. They should be closer to 23.
Yeah, because it's a tanking matchup, right? So you don't expect the Pistons to necessarily get blown out, get a full slate of run. And I like what you're saying. He's trying to prove that he's worth more. He's also trying to play his way off this team because he's been bandied about in trade talks, and there are contenders that could really use him and might get make an offer before February.
Yeah.
Follow me if you're bold on this one. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander under 39.5 points, rebounds, assists. Under 29.5 points is bad odds. So I think you add the peripheral stats, which have just not been there for him in his last 4 meetings with Miami. He's getting 8 combined rebounds and assists. In his last 5 games overall, he's getting 7.5 rebounds, assists. Obviously, he scores around 31 a game, regardless of the matchup. The Grizz did hold him in check. Miami should be able to hold him down a little bit, even though Jimmy Butler's not playing here. In 8 career against Miami, he's averaging only 17 points per game. In his last 4 when he was the man, still 20.3 points per game. And like I said, not a ton of peripherals. And his usage rate and his points are down a little bit at home versus an astronomical 34% usage rate on the road. So, I mean, it's plus 100 to take the under on the PRA again versus minus 125 for the points. I think you want to combine everything together here. Miami's not a team that gives up a ton of assists or loses the rebounding battle often. So I think even if he scores over 30, he might not get to that number.
Yeah, ballsy. If there's a 3 in front of that number for SGA, I'm scared of it to go under. But come on, Miami. Like, yeah, this is an opportunity for them for sure. I'm scared of them playing just the sliding that they've been doing. I mean, OKC been looking pretty good in that Dallas game. You know, SGA was definitely doing his thing, but this is a much different matchup for them, and one that I think you could probably find a bit of value in the under there. I'm definitely adding the rebounds and assists for sure. Because I'm scared to go under anything like 30 points for SGA right now, even though he's slowed down a bit for sure. As you mentioned, just that's because he came back down to earth from like 35 a game over like a 5-game span. But yeah, this is much more down to earth for him, and something I think, you know, Miami's definitely getting better on defense as Bam gets healthier, Jimmy gets healthier. So I'm going to finish things off by throwing Donnie Mitchell out there. We talked about that Cavs and Mavs game having the potential to have a bit more points than people think. Donnie, you know, has had some struggles. I'll say too, it's 26.5 points for him on FanDuel, minus 106. You can get 25.5 too for like on DraftKings. Just obviously those odds go way down. Might as well get the extra point in there for Donnie. Some struggles versus Dallas over the course of the last 2 seasons, but Dallas has been a better team. I think we're starting to see their aging around guys like Dorian Finney-Smith, Reggie Bullock, look a lot slower on defense and not be able to lock in as much as they have been in the past. Obviously, Paolo also missing some time this season, but hasn't really been getting minutes as he hasn't been a great fit so far with this version of the team. So yeah, I think this is, despite Donnie having a few struggles when he was on Utah against this team, this is a different scenario entirely, and specifically for how bad Dallas is on defense right now, allowing 117 points in their last 10, about 112 when they're at home, which is where they are tonight. So some more opportunity for him in road games so far with Cleveland. 29 a game for Donnie on 49% from the field, 38% from deep. So really good splits there. And then 92% from the line, always one of the best free throw shooters. 32% usage rate wherever he plays. So you know he's going to be getting the ball and putting it up as he's been doing all season. And his last 4, he's been getting back on track after a small little bit of a struggle, a few bad games in a row. But his last 4, 32 points per game on a 33.5% usage rate, getting those splits actually up to 52% from the field and 41 from 3. So if you get into the line about 5.5, 6 times as well, I think you like those odds for him. I would also throw out there Luka. I said to Nate, like, what do you think about a Luka prop? It's like, yeah, whenever you want to take Luka. It's 30.5 points for him. If he gets 31 tonight, that's about even money, minus 105 on DK. I would also consider that. I know Cleveland is Cleveland, but in his last last 2 rather versus Cleveland, he's had 26, 10, and 10, and then like 30, 10, and 9. So there's still 33, 10, and 9. So there's still opportunity for Luka to get those. If you want to throw the PRA in there as well, it's 46.5 for him. Like I said, he's gotten that his last 2 against Cleveland, gets that pretty much every single night. So either of these 2 stars going at it tonight in this matchup, I think is a pretty good bet.
Yeah, I mean, maybe you want to take some of the bonuses available for both guys to get 30, because I think I would take an alternative over even on Mitchell here, 29, 30 points. I mean, he's just, the usage and the points per game lately are so indicative of where the Cavs are at as a team, which is like, okay, we got nothing going. Let's give it to this MVP candidate that we brought on board to fix our offense. And Dallas, he knows he struggled against Dallas recently. he knows he can get it going. I expect him to get right in this matchup and for both stars to be out.
Yeah, let's get it, man. We are on track tonight, feeling good about these. So that is all the time we have for you in this one. Make sure to like and subscribe to that page. Continue to follow along. Come back and see us each and every weekday this season. So until we see you next, happy betting.